What the fuck is that?
That is actually the best line in the movie, or if not one of the best lines in the movie, especially that delivery. Uh, I'd say the same thing too if I saw that blob of CGI staring at me. I also love how the liquor just like fucking mugged for the camera, just smiled for the camera. Like I also wondered like why the Red Queen sent if the Red Queen sent the liquor to Spence. Why did she send the liquor to Spence when he was already going to get the cure? He only got bit one time. He was going to get the cure, and she killed Spence or had Spence killed because reasons. I guess I don't. No one. That's never explained. Like she doesn't never explains that. Like I guess she just did it because he's a bad guy. I guess I don't know. I didn't think this thing had a conscience because considering it was already killing people without regard of whether or not they were good or bad.
Now that it has fed on fresh DNA, it will mutate. Becoming a stronger, faster hunter.
I will say, first of all, let's get this out the way. The liquor will mutate if it feeds on fresh DNA. That won't mean shit in Resident Evil Apocalypse and Resident Evil Retribution because they feed on fresh DNA twice in those movies. After this film, and they don't mutate at all. I mean, I guess the super liquor, I guess in Retribution, I guess it fed on fresh DNA, but it's just assumed that was just a big ass liquor that they just created, the Umbrella Corporation created. That's the assumption. But the liquors in Apocalypse kill a guy. One of them feeds on fresh DNA, kills a guy. Doesn't mutate, doesn't turn into this. I don't even know what to call this thing now because they call that in Retribution a super liquor. I guess I don't know what the hell this one is, but I will say that this design of the liquor is actually pretty good. I feel like it's his own monster now, rather than it just being a liquor. It's actually its own creature, and it's something that I feel like could have been in a Resident Evil game as well. A lot of this stuff I feel like could have been in a Resident Evil game. You know, the hive, the production design of the hive, the production design of some of the train station areas, the liquor itself, the dining hall. Some of these things could have been in a game. I'm almost certain there's probably some mods of it out there somewhere. You know, out there in the world, there's a mod or two of Resident Evil movie sets and stuff. But overall, I kind of enjoyed the design of this creature. I wish they kept using it more. And it pretty much negates the whole. This movie is a prequel to Resident Evil games, you know, to the first Resident Evil game, like Paul Anderson suggested, because it's like if that were true, then that means there should be 100 of these fucking super monster liquors running around in Resident Evil 2, and that's not the case. So I don't know, but overall, I like the design of this super liquor, this Resident Evil 1 super liquor, because again, Resident Evil Retribution has a super liquor, and I don't know what the fuck to even call that. So anyway,
Fuck it.
okay, to be fair, any actress could have pulled off that line, but none could do it as well as Michelle Rodriguez just did.
You require the 4-digit access code. I can give you the code, but first you must do something for me.
What do you want?
One of your group is infected. I require her life for the code. The glass is reinforced, but it won't hold forever.
I do like this kind of moral dilemma with the fact that Alice has to kill Rain in order for her and Matt to escape, or she can stay there and die with the rest of them. I don't like the fact that there's a Deus Ex Machina. I guess just if you could say, with Kaplan just coming in and just going, "Lol, no, we'll save everybody." I didn't like that, but the idea that they have to take out their friend to save themselves or stay there and die because the Red Queen won't let them leave the room unless Rain is unless Rain is dead because she's infected, and she didn't want to take that chance. Alice wanted to take the chance, but then in the end, the Red Queen was right because Rain got cured and she still became a zombie. She got the antivirus and she still became a zombie. There's also a race against the clock here, where it's like not just the blast door is going to lock them into the hive forever, but the fact that the liquor is now crashing through the window and shit. So there's a bit of a bit of a anxiety boost there. There's a bit of a tension boost with this scene here.
Do it. No. Get up. Just do it. Rain, please get up. Do it.
Do it! Long to decide.
Joyce.
Kill her.
Just do it!
Kill her now.
Get up.
You don't have any choice.
No! What are you waiting for? Do it!
Please.
Do it. Kill
Just
her.
Do it.
Kill her now.
do it!
Kill her.
Do it.
I never understood that. Like, what I never understood what destroying that screen was going to do, because the Red Queen could probably still talk to them otherwise, like through speakers or something in that room. I don't know. It's I mean, I guess she did the right thing, I guess, for her friend, but I, I just don't know what the fuck that was going to do. I love that they're trying to build suspense on this. Like, oh, it could be the super liquor. It could be the creature. It's like, it's fucking Kaplan. Like, even as a kid, I knew that, because I wouldn't have thought that had they not showed his fucking survival in the tunnel scene. But they did anyway, and it was obvious from the fucking start. It was Kaplan. Who else could have shut down the Red Queen? Kaplan. Who the fuck else could be at the door? Kaplan. Yeah, Paul Anderson really dropped the ball. He dropped the ball in this whole franchise, but he dropped the ball on this one particularly.
Cap?
Bitch wouldn't open the door, so I had to fry her.
See, this doesn't work because you've already spoiled the twists earlier. It would have been more of a shock, like, oh, wait, what happened? And then they showed the fucking, that scene later, or now, actually, where they show that he didn't kill himself. This kind of reminds me of Karate Kid 3, where they had Terry Silver. I had to look these names up. Shut up. They had Terry Silver try to fuck over Danny, and he was like working with John Kreese. But then the Terry Silver came up with this whole bullshit story that John Kreese had already died, and he's trying to help Danny become a better fighter, or better at karate or whatever. And I'm just like, wait, but you already spoiled. And then they had like a twist at the in the middle of the movie where they showed Danny that John Kreese is alive, and it's like, well, you've already spoiled that like 10 minutes into the movie. Like, almost 10 minutes into the movie, you see Terry Silver on the phone with John Kreese setting up this plan against Miyagi and Daniel, and it's like, you already spoiled this shit, and now you're gonna act like this is a twist. Same thing here. You've already spoiled that Kaplan is still alive. It's no surprise that he would come back at the end of the fucking movie. He would come back in some big way. You've already ruined this. Even in the commentary, as I said before, even in the commentary, Mila Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez questioned them on this. They just went, lol, no. Lol, we just did it that way. It's like, no, really, why did you do it that way? It's fucking stupid. Oh, man. It's like the more Paul Anderson directs movies, the worse they get. Like, let's be for real. The worse they get. Every film has legitimately been worse than the next. We've had Mortal Kombat. That was fine. Event Horizon. That was okay. Resident Evil. This was okay. Fucking Alien vs. Predator. That was mediocre to okay. It's gotten progressively fucking worse. I think he did Dead or Alive. I might be wrong about that. Or maybe he produced Dead or Alive. He did Death Race. That was shit. He did Resident Evil Afterlife, Retribution, and the Final Chapter. Those were shit. Three Musketeers. That was shit. Pompeii, I haven't even seen, but I'm almost certain that was shit. And now he's doing Monster Hunter, so that's bound to be shit. You gotta get your shit together, Paul. You really gotta get your shit together with these movies. Another thing about the Super Liquor as well is that the Super Liquor is being done through the use of animatronics and CGI. I much prefer the animatronics, like you see here. This is animatronic liquor crashing against the window, versus the CGI one, which you'll see in a minute, which looks very bad. To the point where I don't even think the lighting on this Super Liquor matches the room. Like, it looks pretty bad. It actually is one of the worst effects in this movie, no doubt. At least in this scene. The later scene, it doesn't look that bad comparatively, but when you see him in the train, it doesn't look that bad by comparison. But it looks really bad in this particular scene. In fact, it's probably the worst CGI in this movie. Is the liquor crashing through the window and going to chase the heroes out of the room. It's like, that looks bad. That looks bad even for 2002. Like, what the fuck? I also like the animatronic Super Liquor as well, because it felt like it had more weight to it when it moves around. And that's because there's a guy inside a half of a Super Liquor suit, animatronic suit, just banging against the glass. So it feels like it has more weight to it. It feels more realistic when it's animatronic, obviously because it's an animatronic, but it doesn't look, it looks even worse as a CGI creature. That's the whole thing. I wish they went more animatronic than CGI, but they went more CGI here, so because most of the time you see this creature, this particular liquor creature, it's in CGI. You don't really see it as animatronic much anymore after this. Like, you'll see it probably once, maybe twice in the train fight, but that's like brief shots versus like the rest of the scene where it's like entirely CGI. So
What the fuck was that?
It's a long story!
yeah, it looks like a fucking spoiled fleshy breakfast sandwich coming at you. The fuck? Like, in CGI form, it looks bad, but in animatronic form, it looks way better. So I don't know why it looks worse here than it does in everywhere else. And that's another thing from the game: the crawling zombies, the ones that crawl at you and bite your feet, and you have to kick their head off or stomp their head in, which is not bad. I mean, I hate them too. Not as much as the crows, the dogs, or the hunters, or maybe not even the roaches that were briefly in Resident Evil 2, but still hate them nonetheless.
I'm missing you already.
Fun fact, Milla Jovovich actually did hit James Purefoy with that plastic axe. And apparently he was really pissed about it, which Milla Jovovich just kind of brushed off and was like, lol, whatever. But I'm like, did you at least apologize for that shit? Like, that looked like, you made some big contact with that fucking axe. So I don't know. Hopefully they patch things up over that. 20 years later, I highly doubt he's still mad about that. But still, it's just kind of a fucked up thing to look at. It's like, oh man, he really nailed him with that shit. You see, its symbolism has her both ditching Matt. I keep calling him Matt. I don't know why. It's symbolism for her both ditching Spence and ditching Umbrella. Get it? A little on the nose, but it's all right. She should probably inject her with like 5 of those things, because she got bitten like 8 times between the first time in the dining hall being that before the zombie shootout, and now she's been bitten like fucking 8 times. Like, it's no wonder she became a zombie anyway, because she got bitten so many goddamn times. It was like the antivirus is like, I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? This shit, I can't. You need more of me.
I don't want to be one of those things. Walking around without a soul. When the time comes, you'll take care of it.
Hey, no one else is gonna die. Rain. Rain. Rain.
I'm not dead yet.
So why didn't you answer her when she called you the first 5 times? Like, I'm not dead yet. Like, well, then say something. What the fuck? We thought you were dead.
I can kiss you, bitch.
And so many fan fictions were born from that one line. Trust me, I've been all over fanfiction.net back in the day, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the line that did it. Your first response should have been to run, yes, but you decided to stand there and look. And it's like, I love how he came back after supposedly dying, and then like 5 seconds later, he just dies. That is so fucked up.
Surprise, motherfucker! Oh, shit! Yeah, your sister took the keys.
And that's a shot that'll be reused again and again in the series. I was gonna say the trilogy. They used it in like almost every Resident Evil movie. The slow motion bullet shot. So it was only not bad here. I think in other films it was like, yeah, this is looking worse and worse each time. Another one of Matt's funny faces. What the fuck? That always kills me every time he runs at the liquor with the pipes. He's got this, like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that giant beast's tongue would be strong enough to knock her and that pipe around. Instead, it's like trapped under the pipe. It's like, what the fuck? How? I love how her teeth and eyes just are all fucked up immediately. Like, the skin I can understand because she's dead now, but like the teeth and eyes are already fucked up. It's like, that was fast? I mean, she didn't. The teeth didn't look that way a minute ago. Hey, 2 for the price of 1. Although I do find it strange that the liquor was set on fire from that. Like, that's kind of bizarre. It just burst into flames. Like, how flammable was that fucking creature? So yeah, that door is just a shadow of a cardboard box or something, I think. Because they couldn't afford an actual door to close down on behind the stairs, so they had to just do that with shadow and stuff. So, like I said, they were on a budget, so I understand some of the problems with the movie. I understand some of the technical problems with the movies. So it's like, hey, they're on a budget. They did the best with what they had. Doesn't mean it doesn't look. Some of it doesn't look like shit. You know, like the liquor CGI and stuff like that. But what they did good, and I'll get into this when this is all over, is the makeup design, the zombies, the production design. They did a pretty good job with the budget they had, but yeah, it's just kind of funny to just think of like it's a cardboard box is lowering. Like, what the fuck?
You're infected. We'll be okay. I'm not losing you.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is.
And that was Jeremy Bolt for the last time. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I don't think he pops up in the other movies as a cameo. I think he has a voice cameo in Apocalypse. I know he has like a brief vocal cameo in that, but other than that, I don't think he's in the rest of these Resident Evil movies.
He's mutating. I want him in the Nemesis program.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. The idea of turning the Nemesis origin being a random guy, like I don't know how much I like that. It was much better as like a lab experiment that they turned into this giant monster, like Mr. X or even the Nemesis himself. But here it's like, it's a dude that they just mutated and fucking experimented on. And they experimented on both him and Alice for no real reason now that I think about it. Like, they wanted them quarantined to see if they had been infected with the T-virus. They clearly haven't been. They know this, but they decided to turn Matt into the Nemesis. They decided to give Alice superpowers and shit. Or give her the T-virus and give her, like, superpowers. Like, a lot of this shit it happens in Apocalypse, by the way. This is not on this isn't the fault of the first movie. I mean, it's all the fault of Paul Anderson because he wrote all 6 of these movies, but it's not the fault of the first movie per se, where it's like, all right, they did this here. It's Apocalypse that introduced the superpower Alice thing, introduced the all this other shit. It's like I feel like it's unfair to even criticize the first movie for that, because it's the second movie onward that goes into this crazy superhuman Alice direction, which they've had superhumans in Resident Evil in the past. Albert Wesker, Alexia Ashford, she's superhuman in a way. Hell, the Nemesis technically is superhuman. Well, that would imply he's human. He's clearly not. He's clearly not a human being. He was never a human being to begin with. But characters like Jack Krauser, he's superhuman. So it's not too far off to believe in superpowers in Resident Evil, but it's like they gave Alice all these powers and they made her, again, like I said, a bit of a Mary Sue, where she's just fucking stoppable. Even when she lost her powers in Resident Evil Afterlife, she was still a fucking unstoppable, basically. They tried to tone it down in Afterlife, but she still did some shit that I'm just like, you lost your powers. You should not be able to do any of this shit or take any of these hits. But, you know, it's fucking whatever, you know. Yeah, but I can't blame the first movie for the superpowers thing. I will give this movie shit for making Matt the nemesis. Like I can't wrap my mind around that. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why is he the nemesis? Like, why is this a thing that you've chosen to do with the nemesis character? Like, I don't know. That will always fucking baffle me to this very day. But, you know, it's whatever. It is what it is. I also want you to keep this in mind. All of this with the Matt and the nemesis, all of this happened because the super liquor scratched him by chance. Just scratched his arm. And that turned him into the nemesis. Like, that quickly. He's like showing infection and all this shit. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You thought you were slick with that twat shot, didn't you? Thought you were slick with that. There's actually quite a few like slight nudity with Alice in this movie. Like, she shows a nipple, almost half a tit earlier in the film. She shows the twat here. I don't think there's ever been a single film. I can name like 3 movies that didn't feature Mila Jovovich just fully nude in some way. Or the character going nude in some way. It's like, it's so strange to me. I mean, if she's proud of her body, sure. I'm not shaming her for that. I just thought it was strange now that I think about it. Like, I'm thinking the Resident Evil movies, like half the Resident Evil movies is her nude. Ultraviolet, she was nude in that as well. The Fifth Element was like another thing she was nude in. It's like, good God, woman. You know, which is not, I don't mind. It's just, she's got a great body. This thing is kind of like, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I can name like 3 or 4 movies where she wasn't, dude. Another piece of production design here where it's like, you go from the mansions and the hive and that train station, the train itself, and it's like all dark and dirty or dark and creepy, and it's like very corporate looking, very silver and all this stuff. Then you come here and it's all bright white, and it's like, whoa, it's almost jarring a little bit. It's like, whoa, that's bright as hell. You know, so I kind of like that little, it's like all clean and just sanitized almost. Like, it's like, wow, it's like we're in a brand new movie almost at this point. Now, I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a zombie or not, because it was something in Apocalypse that shows that Thomas Kretschmann's character, Major Timothy Kane, wakes Alice up through a computer, which is kind of odd, but he does do that. So I was always wondering, was that him in the control room? But then again, maybe it's not him, because he might have been in a tent somewhere or some setup made by Umbrella. I don't know. But I always wondered why there were no other zombies in that building. If that is a zombie, where are the rest of the other zombies in that building? Why is that the only zombie there? Like, where is everyone? Where are the other zombies? Where are all the other zombies when she goes outside? That's another question too, because in Apocalypse, the fucking city's overrun. Raccoon City's overrun with zombies in Apocalypse. So why is that not the case in the building or outside when she leaves the building? All right, look. There's so much my mind could accept before I see stupid shit like that. Example, she uses a needle as a pin, a little lockpick to break open a fucking card reader. Like, come on. The fuck out of here. Oh my God, Paul Anderson, what were you thinking? What were you thinking about? All you had to do if you were gonna do something like that was make the door a regular fucking door. You didn't have to make it a card reader. And Paul Anderson's excuse was, oh, well, she's a security expert. But it's like, that doesn't even make any fucking sense. Who the fuck does that? Has anyone in the history of ever done that? It's fucking stupid. That was probably one of the stupidest parts of this whole movie. There's there's a few dumb parts in this movie, but that was the one that was just like, all right, what? What the fuck is wrong with this movie? Oh shit. I will give props that it is a reference to, I guess, the lockpick, or maybe it's just a lockpick thing. I don't think they might not even have the lockpick from the game in mind. They might have just been like, oh yeah, fuck it, just use the thing to do it. But it does remind me of how they use lockpicks in the game. Well, Jill does. Alice, fucking hell. Jill does in Resident Evil 1. I don't remember if it was in Resident Evil 2, but I know it was in Nemesis because it made sense to have her have it again. But that was just kind of stupid. And in comes my favorite shot in this entire movie, which is if not one of them, but it is up there. This ending shot here of an entirely destroyed Raccoon City. I don't know how far this goes because they did actually have this city look all wrecked and everything. This whole street and area look all wrecked. I don't know how far. I highly doubt it goes that fucking far as you see in the actual movie. Probably the best bit of CGI in the movie because it doesn't look. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of that's CGI. So I'm pretty impressed with how they handled it, how they did this. You know, it's a nice way to end the movie. Kind of ended with the she's in the middle of the Raccoon City incident, and for people who don't know Resident Evil at all, they're like, "Oh, the zombies are in the streets now." Me and others, people who've played the games, they know that this is she's like right now in the middle of the Raccoon City incident. But yeah, I actually really did like this shot a lot. I think it's probably the last good shot you'll probably see in a Resident Evil movie. Actually, that's not true. Extinction had a few decent ones that I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, this is it. This is like the last. Between this and Extinction, we have Apocalypse, which is shit. And then after Extinction, we got a whole trilogy of just trash. So this is as good as we're gonna get as for now, until Extinction rolls around, and I'll talk about that movie, and I have to dredge through fucking Apocalypse as well. So that was Resident Evil, the 2002 Resident Evil movie. I thought this was okay. I'll go over the pros and cons. Whenever I do these, I'll go over pros and cons, and whichever there's more of, I'll save that for last, and I'll start with the lesser stuff first. So, for example, I don't have there's a lot of cons here, but I don't have as many as pros. So the cons, there is some bad CGI in this movie. The liquor CGI is fucking awful. The bullet CGI is pretty bad. A lot of bad CGI in this movie. There's some good, decent ones, but like the zombie makeup with the zombie's half face and stuff, that looked pretty good. But then when you see the liquor, it's like, wow, that looks really bad. There's some unnecessary jump scares, like the gun jump scare early in the movie. There's some really like dumb shit with the Red Queen, for example. I didn't even think about this until just now. But there's a scene where she's in the lab where she's like, Alice says, there's a chance it can cure rain, and the antivirus can cure rain and cure the T-virus, and the Red Queen goes, I don't deal in chance. But then it's like, she then later on, I think, says that, or before that, she says she didn't tell the others about the liquor being loose because she didn't think they would make it this far. I'm like, so wait, you don't deal in chance, but you just dealt in chance just now. You just took a chance. It's like, it's very inconsistent shit with the Red Queen. There's some bad acting in this movie. But there's some good ones, but there's mostly bad acting in this. I find it funny they never shoot for the head at all in the opening. that first like zombie battle, that was really stupid. There's a lot of conveniences, like the convenience of Alice and Spence getting their memory back at the exact same fucking time. I thought that was way too convenient. The idea that the Red Queen controls the liquor was kind of dumb. Assuming she does control the liquor, I don't know. That's never really expanded on. The fact that they spoiled Kaplan's death, like in that tunnel scene, like that was really dumb. I don't know why they couldn't just hold back on that until later on in the movie. Matt becoming the Nemesis, I don't like at all. I never liked that. and the lockpick, the whole lockpick at the end, that was really probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in the movie. But let's go over the pros. The opening shot, that little zoom in shot, assuming that is what Paul Anderson says, is that just him in a tunnel going down, panning over to that guy. Assuming that's what it is, that is a pretty good shot because it looks very convincing. The music by Marilyn Manson and Marco Beltrami, I think is fucking great. It has the sound of Resident Evil for the most part. I say it sounds very Resident Evil, but I realized, oh right, there's that fucking techno rock music that's playing during the fucking zombie shootout scene and during the liquor fight and stuff. But there is some sound music in this movie that sounds like it's not from the game, but it could have been in the game at some point. The production design is great. I love the way the mansion looks creepy. Again, I wish we had more of that mansion in the film, but what we get is pretty decent looking. The hive itself looks great. The train station looks very creepy and very like ominous. Like you like going around those little corners and going around those little crates and stuff. You're like, what the hell is even in here? If there's anything in there. The train looks fucking cool. Not quite like the one in the game, but it is close. It's close enough, I guess. It's like they took the two train cars from that Resident Evil 2 game and mashed them into one train car. So there's that big wide open space you have where you fight the G Birkin, the final G Birkin monster. But they use that for the super liquor instead, and they also have that control room at the front of the train. So there's that as well. The hospital looks pretty cool. I think it looks very, very weird and weird at how clean and how bright it looks too. Some of the actors like Colin Salmon, I think is pretty awesome. He doesn't do much, but for what he gets, he's not bad. I think James Purefoy is fine. I didn't think much of Mila Jovovich, honestly. But the MVP of this movie is Michelle Rodriguez. I think she's excellent in this fucking movie. Kind of wish she had lived through this movie. Kind of wish she had stuck around for the other movies. Besides being a random ass clone in Resident Evil Retribution, I thought that was pretty dumb. But I kind of wish she'd stuck around for more of those movies than just being relegated to a bit part as a clone, as two different clones in Retribution. The laser grid scene was fucking excellent. I actually really think that scene was probably the best actual scene in the movie, because the best shot in the movie is the final shot. The final shot's fantastic, but the best scene is overall probably is the laser grid, because that really was well done, how they handled and showed how well the Red Queen, for that brief moment of time anyway, how well the Red Queen could outthink the commandos and shit like that. The death of one was pretty iconic. The whole idea of him being chopped into pieces, that was fucked up. The zombie makeup and the acting from the zombies is actually pretty good. They act like the living dead, basically. And they have the makeup that actually looks like they put effort into what they were trying to make the zombies look like. The hive shot, that shot where Alice is in the hallway, that's actually pretty damn good. It's the second best shot in the movie. I do appreciate how they actually managed to pull that off. Like, that was actually really... Like, when I heard how Paul Anderson did that, I was like, that's actually really fucking good. Because I thought it was a green screen at first, and then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that's not a green screen. That's actually real time. Like, that's real time shit. That's pretty cool. The Super Liquor's design, the design of the Super Liquor, I really liked a lot. I wish they had done something with that in the game at some point, because they already took the laser grid thing from the movie into those games. I wish the Super Liquor had been used in the game at some point. The closest we got might have been the liquors in Resident Evil. No, actually, no, those are like regular liquors in Resident Evil 5. But still, the scene where they have to choose between escaping the hive and killing Rain. Thought that was a nice little touch that they actually, put that little bit of conflict into the heroes' little dilemma there. There's that bit of conflict, like, oh wow, did we kill Rain? And I actually thought that was nice. The design of the dogs in this movie were pretty cool. I think that was The main dog that was going after Alice, I didn't think looked very good, but the other dogs, looked very fucking cool, like very good. I don't know if that was with puppets or those are actual dogs that they threw makeup on. They kind of look like puppets, I'm assuming, but they look well designed anyway. There's the final shot of the movie. The final shot of the movie I thought was fucking excellent. I actually liked the last little 5 or 6, maybe 10 seconds of this movie. Now, overall, I gave this movie about a 5 out of 10. There is some issues with this movie that does knock it down a bit, but I still think it's enjoyable enough, but still pretty mediocre in its own way. So I will have to give this about a 4.5 out of 10, knock it down about a half a point lower. About a 4.5 out of 10. It's been in between average and mediocre. It's not the worst Resident Evil movie. Believe me, we'll get to the final chapter. Should I happen to live this long, I will eventually get to the final chapter. But it's also kind of mediocre as well, because there's a lot of stuff. A lot of this shit's very dated. Like a lot of the CGI and a lot of the shit that's in this movie is very, very dated. But it's not a bad movie. It's just not great. And that's something I'll be saying a lot with these Resident Evil movies. I'll be saying it's bad when I get to Apocalypse. Actually, I'll be saying that with Afterlife, Retribution, and the final chapter. But it's that it's all terrible. But Extinction kind of falls into this too, where it's like it's not bad, but it's not great either. It could have been a hell of a lot better than what we got. But that's it for now. I'm going to continue on with these reaction reviews. I have already set up a possible 3 more of these, 2 of which I have already downloaded movies for, which is Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge and Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. I'll be looking forward to that, and Man of Steel. Hell, I might even do TV shows. Not TV shows, but shows I've watched in the past. I might do the Clone Wars shows. I've been thinking about that as well. But, that's it for now. And I guess I'll see you guys. I'm thinking about doing Mortal Kombat next, so I guess I'll see you guys then.
You are the only hope left for Earthrealm.
If Emperor Shao Kahn wins the 10th Mortal Kombat tournament,
then you all die. Get over here!
Holy shit. Man, is she hot. Goro!
Finish him.
Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge.
This thing better not go straight to video.
On digital and Blu-ray.